Welcome back to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past. Optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. Over here, we are redefining what success as a physician associate looks like and what it feels like. Here, you'll find tangible, practical things I used, the things I did to escape healthcare burnout, the exact mindset shifts, money habits, systems, and processes I used to become a unicorn PA with a job I love, abundant energy, time to spare, and work optional financial freedom. I'm sharing everything that has helped me to navigate over a decade of PA life with you so that you can live long and prosper. The PA is in. Okay, today, you guys, we're going to talk about common mistakes that PAs make when asking for a raise. This episode is for you if you have asked for a raise in the past and been turned down, if you feel like you've asked for one, but you just felt like you were asking for a raise and the administrator or your supervising physician who was sitting across the table from you just didn't get it. I have found in working with PA clients that most administrators in this big, bad healthcare system simply don't understand what a PA does. They don't really get how PAs serve their patients or how valuable the PAs are. And because of that, the PAs in their practice are not being compensated for their actual experience. So if you are a PA and you're listening to this, your employer should be able to look at your schedule and know the value that you add to your specific practice. If they don't understand your value add, you are not earning enough money. So, the question that I have for you is: does your manager and the administrative team understand your skills, your experience, and the value that you're adding to your patients, to patient education, and to your practice at large? So, without further ado, here are the 5 most common mistakes I see PAs making when asking for a raise. If you can avoid these 5 mistakes, you will be able to increase your income. You will make a raving fan out of your manager, and you will stop missing out on massive salary growth. Now, if you, like me, are both a visual and an auditory learner and you want to walk through these pay raise mistakes and take down some notes and check things off and make notes in the margin, you can go to tracybingaman.com/mistakes. I will link it in the show notes and download your guide. It includes these specific mistakes that we're going to talk about today, and you can print it out and you can mark it up and you can really dive into this material because it only works if you do. Listening to this episode and downloading the free guide don't help you unless you use them. Okay. The very first and most common mistake that I see PAs making when they're asking for a raise is they doubt their own worth. Without a doubt, you are worth more than you're being paid to work as a PA today. Your practice is earning their investment in your salary and benefits and your whole compensation package back in multiples. And I'm almost certain that you haven't seen pay raises reflective of this level of reimbursement they're getting for you, the value that you're providing to your patients, and the level of excellent care that you bring to your job. If you ask for a raise and you aren't sure what you're worth, if you don't understand the specific value and the unique skills and abilities that you have that you add to the practice, your employer will be completely unable to see your worth either. So, unless you value yourself, no one else is going to value you. And this goes along with that. People will treat you the way that you teach them to treat you, or people will treat you the way that you let them treat you. So, right now, if you feel frustrated, like you're underpaid and underappreciated for the work that you're doing as a physician associate, you probably are. But in order to get what you're worth, you have to know what you're worth. And you have to remind yourself of that worth really every day from now on, but specifically in the days leading up to a negotiation. So we teach our clients to avoid the curse of doubt. So So the curse of doubt is something that happens when PAs want to earn more than they're earning right now, but then they have this tiny kernel of doubt that exists in the back of their mind. They start to think things like, well, I already make really great money and I want to earn more, but I don't want to work physician hours or have a physician quality of life. And they take that little kernel and it starts to bloom and get bigger. And they bring that doubt into negotiations with them. So when you go to pitch your employer, it's not going to be this long drawn out thing. It's just going to be a few minutes. So you're going to have a few minutes to make your pitch. You're going to have this ability to sit in front of the person who has the ability to approve your increase or your raise or to go to bat for you and say that you deserve more money. And if you feel doubt in your own worth, if you doubt your own abilities as a PA, it will confuse them because it will come through in that negotiation. They will be able to tell that you're doubting yourself, and it's not going to help you. So the best way to overcome doubt is to be clear and confident in your pitch. You have to know what you want going into the negotiation. And this starts well in advance of when you sit down to have that conversation. So here's the action step for doubt for number one. So number one is that you're doubting your own worth. The action step is to remind yourself of why you specifically add such incredible value to the practice or the organization that you work for. And the second action item is to write down your primary job, what you're doing day to day, and all the other duties as assigned. Those tasks that you're doing, those roles that you've stepped up to fill, those committees that you've joined, the fact that you're doing the scheduling, the fact that you're the leader, all of those things that you do will remind you of your worth. You, my friend, deserve to be compensated for both your years of experience and your specific expertise in the specialty or area of medicine that you work in. So, starting this negotiation from a position of knowing that worth, knowing that you're worth more than you're making right now, is extremely key. If you take nothing else away from this episode, I want to remind you that you are definitely worth more than you're currently being paid. Okay. Mistake number 2. You are dropping your anchor way too low. So, not too long ago, I was due to renegotiate my salary, my hours, and my benefit package. So, I was earning a base rate of $100,000 and I have a productivity based bonus. I work in a plastic surgery practice where the majority of my practice is aesthetics. And I was contracted for 36 hours a week, but I was averaging about 30 to 32 hours of patient contact a week. My main goal was to be able to put the kids on and off the bus 3 days each week. And my husband works from home. So the other days of the week, he was going to be able to get them on and off the bus. So I wanted to cut back both my hours, and I was willing to take a cut in my base salary in order to be able to do that. If I wanted to do that, I had to drop from essentially 30 to 32 patient contact hours to 24, which was going to take me down to 2.5 days per week. So I had the right destination in mind, but I was willing to sacrifice way too much monetarily to get there. So initially, as I started preparing for this negotiation, and I'm going to share kind of step by step what I did in this negotiation, what mistakes I made, kind of what the end outcome was once we get everything settled. But for now, I sat down, I looked at my contract, and before I even started to talk to Dan about this or start to float it to my surgeons at work, I was prepared to offer to take a $30,000 reduction in pay to work only 6 hours less per week and also to give up my employer fostered health insurance. My anchor was dragging real low, you guys. And so this was the fatal mistake that I was making. So I was prepared to enter this negotiation with a really low anchor. So instead of anchoring high and asking for what I really wanted, asking for more than what I really wanted and more than what I expected to get, I had dropped my anchor way too low. So I was ready to propose a decrease in my hourly rate that was really significant alongside a drop in my benefits, which was going to save the company money. So, after working on raising my anchor, and again, going back to number one, reminding myself what I'm worth and the awesome value that I provide my patients, and how I'm safely injecting them, and how I'm educating them, and how I'm knowledgeable, and I know my anatomy and the possible complications, all the things, my new proposed offer included a $10,000 pay reduction and some slight adjustments to my bonus. And I asked for more CME days and I asked for more vacation. And I don't think I'm going to end up getting all of those things, but you're definitely not going to get what you don't ask for. And if you go in asking for what you're willing to accept, like the lowest thing you're willing to accept, you're going to end up disappointed. So even if you get a raise, but it's tiny, you're going to feel crappy about it in the end. So here's what you do instead: lead with a strong anchor. Whatever that better than best case scenario is, ask for that. Aim higher than you could ever imagine them agreeing to. Ask for things that no one in your office is getting and no one in your office has ever done before, because maybe you're the first. And maybe you asking for that will help your employer to realize that other people deserve that thing also. So here are just a few examples of what you can ask for. You can ask for more money, a bigger base salary. You can ask for a bigger annual salary. You can ask for a bigger hourly rate, depending on how you're paid. You could request a productivity-based bonus, where the more patients that you see, or the better outcomes that your patients get, or the more metrics that you hit, or the more RVUs that you earn for the company, the more money you earn for you. While you're negotiating, ask for better hours. Suggest a change in your template and an increase in administrative charting time. So EMR is great and it's also terrible. And with all of those clicks come time. It takes time to effectively, safely, accurately chart on patients. Ask for increased call compensation if you're taking call, or a decreased call frequency. Ask for a post-call compensation day so you can take a freaking nap. Ask for longer visit durations so you can take better care of your patients, or fewer new patients per day. Ask to have set aside dedicated appointments for same day add-ons so they're not squeezing them in amongst your existing patients. Ask for a flex admin day once a month or once a week. Ask for a 4-hour charting block from home so you can catch up on your in-basket and the notes from the days before. Ask for better inbox coverage when you're away and more vacation time so you can actually get away. Request increased CME money or days out of the office to be learning and improving your skill set in ways outside of formal conferences. And if you have taken on leadership roles or you have committee involvement, ask for compensation for those roles, whether it's through dollars or through downtime, so you can have some administrative time to affect the change that you want to see in the organization based on those meetings. Mistake number 3, you bury the benefit. So you're pitching this bright idea that you want to earn more. And when you're doing that, it is so tempting to talk about what you want as an individual and why. So for me, when I was asking for my raise, instead of saying, I want to reduce my hours, period, I started with saying that my kids are only going to be young once and I want to be there when they get on and off the bus. And in order to do that, I would need to adjust my schedule. But what I was kind of missing when I led with that was that the relationship between me and my employer isn't just about me. It's also about them, and it's also about the patients that I'm caring for. It's about patient access, which is a word that we hate, but is in fact true. So part of your pitch, part of this conversation where you ask for more money for the awesome value you're adding to this organization, should be to highlight the benefits that your employer and your patients experience because it's specifically you who is working there taking care of them. So, as much as you want to talk about your why and share the reason that you're asking for more money or better hours or planning to build boundaries like a brick shit house, try to avoid that temptation. Instead, share the story of how the practice will benefit from this increased salary and better hours for you. Will they have happier employees and a better workplace culture? Paint a picture of what this looks like. Maybe they'll have better retention and less costly turnover for providers. Share this with them and tell them why they're going to benefit from you having this change. One of the very most important paradigm shifts for PAs who are negotiating to earn more money is that your employer has to see what's in it for them. They have to have a win. So the win for you is more money and better hours, right? But they have to have a win. So you've been for them a loyal employee. You've shown up to take care of patients, and you've been doing that well your entire time at this practice. Now is the time to remind them of that. Now is the time to remind your employer of the benefits of having a PA, of having that PA to be you, of what your specific skills, your amazing personality, and your experience, what those things bring to the team, how you're benefiting the practice, whether that's their bottom line or getting patients in the door and patient access, whatever is important to them, and also keeping patients happy and taking really good care of patients who are in your care. So use this negotiation as an opportunity to remind your manager and your admin team why keeping you happy and well paid benefits both them as an organization and the patients that you're caring for. Number 4, you're speaking Greek. So, one of the most common questions we get, and when we're coaching people through career transitions and negotiation, involves how to get your employer to see and understand the value that you're adding to the practice. So, if your manager can't quickly look at your schedule, your patient load, your outcomes, what you're doing on a day to day basis, and understand the value you add to the practice, I said this earlier and I will say it again, you're not getting a raise. They need to be able to see your value in order for them to see that you are valuable enough to pay more money to. Think about these dollars that they're giving you in your paycheck every 2 weeks when it direct deposited into your account as thank yous. So each one of those dollars is a thank you, and you're providing them a service, right? You're coming into work, you're taking care of patients, they're benefiting because they're billing the insurance company. Patients are benefiting because you are amazing. Remember not to forget your worth. And then every 2 weeks, they say thank you with a certain number of dollars who are direct deposited into your paycheck, into your bank account. The more appreciative they are, the more dollars there are in that paycheck. So if they're more grateful for you and the value that you're adding to the practice, there will be more dollars in your paycheck. They're more grateful for the CEO of your health system than they are for you. That's why he or she is making more than you are. And they're more grateful for a new graduating attending than they are for you. That's why they're paying them more money. And it's not that they're not grateful for you, it's just that they're not as grateful. So, in order to get more dollars in your paycheck, in order to get more thank yous from your practice, your manager needs to understand how you're adding value. So, in order to make them understand that, you need to speak their language. So, some practices love RVUs. Some focus on patient access and from the day that they call for an appointment, how quickly you can get them in the door. Sometimes it's how many new patient visits you're seeing in a day. Sometimes it's a specific metric or data that they're measuring for MIPS or insurance reporting or for the higher level administration at the network. So you have to figure out which data points they focused on the most when they're having those meetings, when they're talking about access or patient satisfaction or clinical outcomes or measurable this or data that. Figure out what they're focusing on and then start to speak that language. So using that language as you craft your pitch means that you're speaking their language. And then you can go about the business of proving your worth with a combination of data and stories. So the data is the numbers. That's your RVUs. That's the money you're bringing into the practice. That's new patient consults or visits. That's what you're doing, sort of the volume of your work. And then the stories are things like when a patient sends a note to the office and says, "Wow, this PA took amazing care of me today. And I really appreciate that. And I will never go anywhere else for my oncology care because he or she took such great care of me." So, certainly, you do a lot for your practice, but you want to break it down and highlight the areas of productivity and revenue generation that matter most to your practice admin team, and you'll see their faces light up because they're busy. They have a lot of other things going on, and you're just going to sit down and remind them of what you do and specifically how you add value in a measurable way. So you don't want to tell them all the things that you're doing. You want to tell them the specific, measurable things that you're doing that are adding value to their practice. The fifth and final mistake is not following the PA pay script. So, this is something that I developed. It's a way to communicate and talk about these interactions. So, it's a step by step process you can use to make sure you're being clear and effective in communicating what you want in this discussion with your employer. So, you can personalize this PA pay script, and I recommend using it every time you ask for a raise. Heck, you can do this when you're putting your kid to bed at night. Because anyone who's listening to this who's ever had young children understands that that is truly a negotiation. You can have the best bedtime routine in the world, and it is still a negotiation where your desired outcome is for your kid to be blissfully, quietly asleep in their bed. And where their desired outcome is a raving party all night until 2 a.m. And those things are not the same, right? So you have to sort of reconcile those things. Okay. Back to the PA pay script. So, use these steps every time you're going to ask for a raise, for an adjustment in your hours, for more coverage, for less duties, for a better quality of life. So it helps you to know exactly what you want and what you offer to your employer and patient. And it reins you in so you don't wander off on some crazy tangent down a dirt road like I just did with the kid and the bedtime analogy. So, the critical steps in the pay script can be created by answering these questions. Are you ready? If you didn't print out your guide, go to tracybingaman.com/mistakes. They're written there. But if you didn't print it out yet and you have a pen and paper, I will try to go slowly through these so you can write them down. Number one, what do you want? It's like, is it the Notebook where he says, "What do you want?" And she says, "It's not that easy." And he says, "What do you want?" Okay, so number one, what do you want? What's your desired outcome? Number two, what does your employer want? Number three, what empathetic statement can you make to solve the desires of your employer? Number four, why are you the best possible person to continue to provide care for your patients in your current position? Number five, what's your plan to integrate your new hours, setup, or situation into the workflow at your practice? Number six, what is the direct call to action? What specific steps do you want your employer to take to approve this change? Your manager has to talk to this person who has to do this thing. We have to change your schedule. Like, what are the actual steps? And what's step number one that they need to take to put this into motion? Number seven, what does the landscape of your group or practice look like after this change takes place? Number eight, are you prepared to leave this practice if the answer to every one of your requests is no? So, the answers to these questions will provide all of the material you need to craft your pitch and present the plan for confidence to your employer. Use this PA pay script as the framework for your conversation. You're not going to ask them these questions. You're going to go through these questions and answer them yourself. And I'm working on putting these together in a SOAP note, like H&P format, where you kind of figure out like what's the situation, what's the summary, where you ask them some questions as the exam, and then you create an assessment and plan. Like, here's where we are, here's where we want to be, here's the plan, just like when you're admitting someone to the hospital or managing their diabetes outpatient in your family practice office. So, providing the answers to those 8 questions will help your employer to recognize that you are of unique, distinct, one of a kind value, and that you're adding your great value to their practice, and that you are someone that they need in order to continue to provide the excellent level of care that you guys are known for at your current practice or at your current group. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, that sounds amazing, but I need more, right? I need more in order to be able to really affect change on my paycheck, in order to get my practice to say thank you with more dollar bills every other Thursday when your paycheck direct deposits. And for you, I have this awesome offer I am so, so excited about. This has been in the works for months, and it's kind of surreal that I'm saying, hey, it exists and we're in the process of rolling it out. So if you are hearing this and it is before, let me look at the date so I don't get it wrong. It is before Saturday, November 26th of 2022. If you are hearing the sound of my voice and it is before Saturday, November 26th, 2022, I am welcoming you to take one of the 10 very limited pre-sale slots at a 50% discount to my new digital course. The course is called the PA Pay Academy. And this course is where PAs learn how to secure epic raises and powerful productivity bonuses so they can become work optional as soon as possible. The one thing that I want you to get out of this course is to know how to confidently negotiate and earn a paycheck that you are so freaking proud of. You, my friend, are earning so much money for your employer. And the harder that you work, the more that they make, but you don't see much of that money in your paycheck as a PA. So I'm opening up 10 pre-sale slots. When these are gone, they're gone, and the price goes up, and you won't be able to get in until the course opens later this year. We're going to enroll it up until and start the course on January 23rd of 2023. This is the lowest price that this course is ever going to be. We will not be offering it at this price ever again. So if you are sick of the hamster wheel of cost of living raises of a measly 1% per year, you are going to love the PA Pay Academy. So in this life, there are PAs that simply survive, that go on humdrum, making less money than they deserve. And then there are PAs that learn to negotiate, that know their worth, that know how to get their employers to see their worth and to know how to earn more. And those PAs are thriving. Now, like I said, only 10 PAs will be accepted into the academy at this one-time introductory price. It's 50% off of what it's going to cost later on. Talk about a Black Friday deal. I want to help you earn the biggest raise of your career. And I want you to be able to do that without having to change jobs, hospital systems, or specialties. You can do it in the practice that you're at if you want to stay where you are. And I'm so, so, so excited to offer this opportunity for you. So, if you feel like you're working harder than ever, but your paycheck hasn't changed, if your practice has said no, no, no to your requests for raises in the past, if you feel completely overwhelmed by your clinical duties and you feel like you're not getting paid enough for your years of experience, this course is for you. You are confident in your clinical skills, but you aren't sure exactly how to make that administrative team to see your value because you know you're working hard and you're doing a ton of patient visits, you're doing a ton of revenue for the practice, but you're not seeing it resulted in your paycheck. So again, I would love to meet you inside of the PA Pay Academy. I want you to learn this negotiation structure that you can use now to get a raise every time you change jobs in the future, anytime you need an improved salary or more, an improved schedule or more admin time. This is so great. So I'm offering it to you, podcast listeners, first. So, by signing up for the PA Pay Academy at this early pre-enrollment 50% discount through Saturday, November 26th of 2022, I'm going to ask you for some feedback. So, you're going to get it at 50% off, and then I'm going to send you a couple of surveys in the mail and ask you to tell me what you think about this or that. And in that way, you'll be able to craft this course and make sure it is exactly what you need. Now you're going to buy now, and you have to purchase before November 26th of 2022 if you want the 50% pre-enrollment discount, and we are only offering it to the first 10 PAs who sign up. Everybody else is going to go on the wait list for later this year. The course will not actually begin until January 23rd of 2023. So you're going to buy now, and then you're going to have to borrow some patience until the course starts. I am so freaking excited to get this into your hands because no one ever taught us how to negotiate. We learned how to intubate, but we did not learn how to negotiate. And it is time to resuscitate your salary. So the PA Pay Academy is like CPR for your salary. I am so excited. I will see you inside of the PA Pay Academy. Say that 3 times fast. If you are one of the first 10 to enroll, you get this great deal, 50% off. We're never going to offer it this low again. Click the link in the show notes, sign up, and then you get to help craft the course. And then you get to take the course as part of the very first cohort. You guys, that is it. Thank you as always for listening to The PA is In. If this episode helped you at all, if the stories that I shared and the advice that I gave resonated with you, served you, and maybe even helped you to feel a little less alone in this crazy healthcare world, yay! I'm so glad that it's working. The very best thank you that you can give me is to share this episode with your PA colleagues, your work husband or wife, and with that PA school classmate you only ever see on Facebook. Seriously, I'll wait while you decide who you're going to share it with. From the very bottom of my heart, thank you for tuning into the show by PAs for PAs, where we help you design your life so that you can live long and prosper. It's your turn to get inspired, to take effective action, and to become one of those unicorn PAs who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and financial freedom. Click the link in the show notes and check out the PA Pay Academy to see if it is a good fit for you. This PA is out.